This is your Barbados Today Morning News Update for Thursday, June 13th, 2019. Thanks for joining us. I'm Carol Williams. The Barbados Hotel and Tourism Association is calling for a serious crackdown on visitor harassment. Association Chairman Stephen Austin says this is a major complaint of visitors who otherwise speak highly of the destination. And he's suggesting that increased police presence and patrols appear to have done little to stop offenders. The BHTA official is insisting that the problem be dealt with as a matter of priority, noting that the industry is already under pressure from crime and violence as well as taxes.
I recommend that government should set up a crime task force committee to identify the challenges facing the industry in terms of harassment. The BHTA can offer representation for our membership by collecting the information and reports of challenges reported by visitors. We have to make this the #1 priority and involve a cross-section of ministries such as Ministry of Tourism, the Attorney General, the Royal Barbados Police Force, as well as a representative from the judiciary. I think that's very important in an effort to seriously address the core of this problem. Visitors to this island need to feel safe and we cannot accept that a few people will ruin the good reputation of our island home.
Yet another education official has come out in full support of the abolition of the controversial common entrance exams. Principal of the privately run Eiffel School, Akil Eiffel, agrees that too many children have been and continue to be left behind. His comments to Barbados Today come in the wake of indication by Prime Minister Mia Mottley that the days may be numbered for the exam, also called the 11+.
We are at a stage where when the 11+ results come out, we must also focus on the children who do not score more than 20%. And I would know because I've marked the 11+ exam. I've written exams at C, set level, and at Cape level. And I see that students have a difficulty with comprehension and reading. There are many students in the public system and private system who cannot read. And that is something that needs to be addressed. And we believe 4 terms would also curb the need for having all of these other alternative programs in the summer.
The school principal also suggests that more effective measures be introduced on a national level to curb student ill discipline.
At our school, for example, the secondary school cadets is mandatory. That is the only school in Barbados who will find cadets is mandatory because the children need to be able to understand that there is order and structure within society, as a whole, and within organizations, so that when they go on to business or if they go on to study at tertiary level, they're able to express themselves without being disrespectful. And they still wanting to be confident. And I find that we are lacking confidence in young students. They're not able to represent their ideas and back up their ideas.
The Ministry of Health and Wellness has denied excluding the Barbados Association of Medical Practitioners, BAMP, from consultations on the introduction of medical marijuana here. Claims of being excluded have been attributed to the association president. But Chief Medical Officer Dr. Kenneth George says BAMP is represented on the Drug Formulary Committee, which, after reviewing the evidence, recommended the 5 medicinal marijuana drugs to be placed on the Barbados National Drug Formulary. That committee is responsible for recommending new pharmaceutical products for the Barbadian market. Dr. George assured the doctor's representative body that the ministry welcomes further discussion on the initiative and is willing to hear its concerns. Minister in the Ministry of Economic Affairs, Ryan Strawn, is reporting progress in the development of a framework to provide greater oversight of financial institutions following the CLICO fiasco, while stressing that Barbadians need the assurance the investments will be safeguarded in the future. The minister suggests a more Caribbean-centered approach to tackling the problem.
We have a lot of companies trading across the region. One of the challenges that certainly out of this experience is because there simply was not a united regional approach with respect to the solution or the resolution of CLICO across the region. And so we are pushing for essentially to have greater regulation on the one hand at a regional level, because when you have these cross-border transactions, it becomes very complicated. One regulator in one jurisdiction looking after the interests of their citizens, leaving Barbadians here to do the same, and then Barbados being in a sense the parent for the Eastern Caribbean, creating in a sense a quagmire of regulators seeking to look after, in a sense, the interests of those specific citizens. But the truth is that we have companies operating regionally, and we feel that the approach really is to make sure that when events like that happen and there's some failure, that there's a collective response.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
To the Bahamas now, where authorities are reporting that crime is down. The Minister of National Security has told Parliament that murders for the year also declined. We get more from our news.
The police commissioner and his officers thus far have been successful in translating our government's crime agenda into effective operational strategies. For the first quarter in 2019, overall crime is down by 7%.
According to DAMES, as of June 11, there were 37 murders recorded for 2019. That's a 21% decrease when compared to the 47 murders recorded during the same period in 2018. DAMES said nearly half of the murder victims were known to police.
The reality is that 17 of the current 37 murder victims were known to the police. 6 of the victims were on bail for various offenses, including murder, and 4 of them were being electronically monitored for murder. In other words, in most of these incidents, the victim is known to its attacker.
As for the other categories of crime, crime against the person was down 16%, armed robbery down 20%, rape down 29%, unlawful sexual intercourse down 3%, and robbery down 9%. When it comes to crime against the property, it was down 5%. Housebreaking down 37%, shop breaking down 16%, and stolen vehicles down 27%.
And finally, the World Health Organization has announced that an expert committee will meet in Geneva tomorrow to discuss whether to declare a new Ebola outbreak a global health emergency. The meeting follows the death of a 5-year-old boy in Uganda, as 2 of his relatives also tested positive for the virus. His infection marked the first cross-border case of the virus in the current epidemic. We get the details from Al Jazeera.
It's the news Ugandans have been dreading for months, confirmed by the Minister of Health to journalists at a media briefing in the capital Kampala before the boy's death.
So the Ministry of Health would like to inform the public of the confirmation of Ebola virus disease in Kasese district, Uganda. The confirmed case is a 5-year-old boy who traveled from the Democratic Republic of Congo with his mother yesterday.
The 5-year-old boy was being treated in an isolation ward similar to this one at a hospital in western Uganda, close to the border with the Democratic Republic of Congo. Uganda's been on high alert for the last 10 months since the outbreak in the eastern DRC, where 2,000 Congolese have contracted the virus and 1,400 have died, in the second worst Ebola epidemic on record. The last outbreak of Ebola in Uganda was 7 years ago. Then it strained an already overstretched healthcare system. This time the government wants to contain the virus much more quickly.
And that's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook. And sign up for breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media in bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM. I'm Carol Williams. Have a good day.